gotta dance. Apparently some of you can't hear me, so I will talk louder. It makes me wonder, when I only get the complaint from one person, is it really a problem? Let me know. If you can't hear me, let me know. Either I'll talk louder or I'll go get the microphone that I returned to Amazon because I thought you guys could hear me. Anyway, stuff for the orc jar. Yes, I've been cross stitching. Not last night. Look, my orc jar's getting stuff in it. You're like, what the heck is an orc jar? Apparently it's where you put leftover cross stitch threads, and I happen to have this little glass that I got from the old spaghetti factory, so I put it in there. I don't have a jar, an orc jar. I need a jar. I need coffee. All right, let me show you what I finished on this canvas last night. I am digging this canvas. Digging, that's like a 70s word, right? Digging. Enjoying this canvas. Let's put it into the 21st century, shall we? I'm enjoying this canvas. Okay, so the blending of the colors is amazing. It's just beautiful. This is the bottom of the canvas, and there's you see how the yellow goes into the oranges and the pinks. It's so pretty. That's the monsters. I think that's the ground that the monsters are standing on. The little pink monster, the baby monster, is right here. So I think I'll work on some of what we're missing. Let me just start by saying, guys, I had a rough night. Oh, yes. The cats. Well, first of all, Big Brother was 2 hours last night. I don't know why, but it was. And we started watching it late because I was on Wolfpack's show till 9. So after that, my sister's like, I want to watch Big Brother. Now, this is a person who's never watched Big Brother in her life. She has all of a sudden become a fan of Big Brother. I have turned her on to Big Brother. So she's like, let's go watch let's see who got. I'm like, okay. We'll watch it. Where is, let me get this, here we go. We'll watch it. So we watched it, saw who got eliminated. It is getting good. So they're down to, surprise, double elimination last night. That's why it was 2 hours. Because they only have like a week and a half, 2 weeks to go, essentially 2 weeks. Because Survivor starts on the 22nd. Now, I like that show. Oh, I'm a huge Survivor fan. Huge. Also a huge Big Brother fan. Whoa, is this a pretty color? Man, because now we're getting into an even darker pink. This is, look at this color. I don't know if you can see it in the tray. How pretty is that? Okay, I digress. So we go to bed, and then I was watching this news show, and I was tired. I probably could have gone right to sleep, but I'm like, no, let me see. You know, I like to watch one show on Netflix. I need a light pad, at least for this one. Is that an E or an F? I think it's an E. Is there an E on here? Is there an E? Yes, there is an E. There's E's and there's F's, and they're not far apart from each other, but the E is quite a bit darker than this F. The F is pretty dark, but the E is darker. Okay. Okay, let's turn the light pad off because that's bugging me. There. Now you can see what I'm doing. So I turn on Netflix and there's a new show on. I'm like, oh, I've not seen that before. And it was Travels with My Father. I think is the name of it. Traveling with My Father. There's the guy's name. He's British. He's a British comedian. and he decides he's going to travel around with his father. He's going to do a gap year. He's an adult. He's a grown adult. He's got a career in comedy, but he's calling his travels the gap year. And they decide they're going to, he and his dad are going to go visit Bangkok, Thailand, and some other places. And so he talks his dad into, well, unbeknownst to me, I don't know if this was a British show that Netflix brought over, but they're in season 5. So I backtrack. I'm like, let me go back to season 1 because I need to get the gist of what's going on here. It's only a 30-minute show. So I go back to season 1, episode 1. This guy talks his father into traveling with him, and his father's like packing his suitcase, and apparently his wife had already packed it. He's unpacking it. He's like, I'm not wearing shorts anywhere. Where am I going that I need shorts? So he throws his shorts in the closet. Then his wife comes in, and he's like this old stodgy English guy, with his suit and tie. And she comes in and she's like, honey, you need those shorts. No, where am I going? I don't need shorts. And she's carrying flip-flops, and she's trying to put these flip-flops in the bag, in the suitcase, and he's not having it. He's like, what? I'm not gonna wear flip-flops. Where am I going that I need? She's like, you might go to the beach. I'm not going to the beach. It's really funny. So she ends up sliding him into his suitcase, and she probably put the shorts back too, but we don't see that. And the conversations this guy has with his father are so funny. And they go to Thailand, and so his father's wearing the suit. Wherever he goes, he's got this suit on and this hat. British people like their hats, I guess. He's wearing his hat. Now his son's just dressed normal, and he's a good looking guy, the son, and very funny with his expressions and stuff. And they go, his father's like, where are you taking me? Where are we staying? And they're like in this thick crowd, and there's vendors everywhere. And he's like, no, Dad, we're backpacking. We're staying at a hostel. And he's got this huge backpack on, the son. And the father's got these suitcases, these like old leather suitcases. So he checks into a hostel, and he brings his father inside, and of course it's a room with all these bunk beds, and there's young kids in the bunk beds, and he's introducing his father to these young people, and his father's like, oh no, I'm out. He turns around with his suitcases and he leaves, and the son's running after his father, Dad, come back. It was so funny. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. So then they go back to his father ends up in this fancy hotel, like really posh hotel. And the son's father, Dad, we're supposed to stay at the hostel. We're backpacking. Remember, his dad's like, no, I am not staying at a hostel. So his dad's checking in, and the son, and the lady says, okay, we have a hot tub, and we have this, and we have a spa, and we have that, and all. And so the son says, all right, fine, I'll stay one night. So they end up staying at this hotel, and they hire a tour guide, and he comes down. He apparently told his father, in the morning, we're going to meet a tour guide down in the lobby, so meet me down in the lobby, because they have separate rooms. So he comes down to the lobby, and he meets the tour guide, this just normal looking Taiwanese girl or woman, and he can't see his father, and she's like, is that your father over there by the bar? And they point to the father, and clearly, it's set up for production, but it's just so funny. His father's talking to this prostitute that's really a man. It was just hilarious. As a man dressed up as a woman, they call them man boys in Taiwan, and his son is just like shaking his head, and he goes up to his father. He's like, what, Dad, what are you doing? And he's like, it's our tour guide. You told me to meet the tour. She's here to entertain us, son. He's like, well, you can go up to the room if you want. This is the real tour guide. I'm going with the tour guide. So he goes with the tour guide. And so the father walks out with him, and he's like, well, who's that? And he says, she's got awfully big hands. It was just so funny. I was dying laughing. And then the places they go are just hilarious. It's just a really funny show. But I mean, in the meantime, it is a travel show, and you're getting to see some of the Taiwan culture and food that the father is not trying. They got served intestines, and the son's like holding it up, and the father says, "Listen, if you enjoy that, don't order seconds because you can have mine because I eat this." So he goes back to the hotel and orders like, you know, like English lamb or something. I don't know. It was just so funny. Okay, I'm sorry, I got caught up in that. But anyway, so I watched like 2 episodes. I was only gonna watch one, just one episode, and then the third one starts. I'm like, no, 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 I gotta turn this off. I gotta go to bed because I gotta get up in the morning and go to work, do the show, go to work. So I turn it off, and I'm like, okay, one more trip to the bathroom. So I had already locked the kittens out for the night. Well, I open the door to go to the bathroom. They race in, jump on the bed. So I come back from the bathroom. There they are. They're all cozy. They're like, "Hey, Mom, we're ready to go to bed." I'm like, oh, God. So, and I'm thinking, okay, they promised to behave. They're like all curled up. So I shut the lights off. We go to sleep. Well, they did go to sleep for maybe a couple of hours, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know how long they were asleep. But at some point during the night, they wake up and they're walking across my head, back and forth, back and forth. "Hey, Mom, get up, get up." I'm like, oh no, not having it. And it wasn't a good sleep. I had this really weird, like my head felt weird, and I was having these weird dreams, and I don't know why. So I get up and I throw the cats out and shut the door. So now they're banging on the door. Bang, bang, bang. I'm like, oh my God, seriously? I hate my life. Um, it's too early, cats. I'm not getting up. So I ignored them. I don't know if they went to bother my sister or not, but I ignored them. I don't even know where they're at now. The door's not shut to the kitchen. They can get in here if they want, but I don't know where they're at. So I wake up, and it's already 7 o'clock when I wake up, and I'm like, no, I want to sleep some more, but I got to get up. Now in reality, the kittens probably woke up at 6. I threw them out. They start banging on the door because they like to eat at 6. But it seemed like it was the middle of the night to me. So I get up at 7, I feed them, and I get ready for work, and here I am. And but yesterday, you know, I was talking to my boss, and I'm like, you know, I think my thyroid is off. I think something's off with my thyroid because I've been very tired and achy, and I just don't feel right, you know. So she's like, yeah, it's National Thyroid Month. You need to go check your thyroid. Oh, the garbage man is here. I'm hoping they pick up the recycling. I don't know if it's every other week or every week the recycling. I need to go peek. Nope, just regular garbage. But they do come in 2 different trucks, so maybe the recycling truck will be up next. We'll see. They're very loud, and they come very early. I'm glad I put the garbage out last night. So I called my doctor yesterday. I'm like, I'll just make a doctor's appointment. Because I talked to another friend of mine who's a doctor, and she's like, yeah, it sounds like you need to get some blood work. So I call my doctor, and the lady that answers the phone is like, oh, I'm sorry, she's booking in until October. I'm like, I don't want a hotel, I want a doctor. I don't feel well today, like this week, not October. October 12th. October 12th. That's what? 5 weeks out? Is that 5 weeks really? Yeah, well, I don't know, 5 weeks. I said 5 weeks. It seems like 5 months to me, but I'm like, October? Wait a minute, today is September 16th, and you're telling me October 12th to see my primary care physician. What? Is there a special? What? I mean, what's going on? Is there a sale? So I said, so, okay, put me on the cancellation list. So if somebody cancels, call me. She's like, there is no cancellation list, ma'am. Like, oh, okay. So I hang up. I don't know, what else am I supposed to do? I'm like, oh, all right, bye. And I hang up. What? We're in Kansas. I can't get a doctor in Kansas, in Midwest Kansas, for 5 weeks? I don't know. I gotta see what's going on with that. She's like, well, we had 2 PAs that quit, so the doctor's picking up the slack. Slack? Just hire somebody. Don't people need jobs out there? Are we not paying enough? Let's pay them more. I don't know. I have the solution, but they're not asking me about what my solution is. Anyway, I guess I'm going to urgent care. What? I can't go to an ER because I'm not sick enough to go to the ER, but I'm apparently, I don't know, well enough I can wait 5 weeks. I could be dead in 5 weeks. Oh God, 5 weeks. I guess they figure whatever little minor ailments you have will be cured and you'll be just fine, okay? She didn't ask me, hey, what's wrong? I didn't even get that message. Hey, if you're having an emergency, please dial 911. Of course we know that, right? I saw a kitten back there. The wax keeps coming out of this magic wand here. Maybe I need to do a spell to keep the wax in. Well, it's not wax, it's glue dots. They're coming out of this pen. The glue dots. I don't know if it's the drills or the pen, but that seems strange. Okay. Let's do, what national day is this? Now that I've talked your ear off, it's National Apple Dumpling Day. So apple dumpling is like you put the apple, and I've never made them. I just read about it. So you put some dough out and you put the apple on the dough and you put some sugar and cinnamon and spices on it, and then you wrap it in the dough and you put it in the oven and you cook it until it's tender, or just before the pastry burns, apparently. I don't know if that's, I would think it'd have to be a lower temperature. I don't know. I've never made them. Why not just make an apple pie? I don't know. So it's the same thing. You take it out, you put it in a bowl, you put a scoop of ice cream with it, and you've got, okay, whatever. Fall is coming, so we have to start talking about these fall desserts, right? Enough with the ice cream and the popsicles and whatever you have during the summer. It's time for some fall treats. Yesterday at the hospital, they always do this theme, you know, so this month's theme is apples. So they have all this stuff that's made with apples. Apple bread pudding and apple, just like cinnamon apples with some whipped cream. And yesterday they had caramel apples. What? Nothing says fall like a caramel apple. I know we're supposed to be talking about apple dumplings, but I already did. So now let's talk about caramel apples. I remember when I was in Florida, there was this one candy store that had these caramel apples that the apples were huge, or at least by the time they put all the crap on them, they were huge. So they roll them in the caramel and then they put all this stuff on them, like pecans and walnuts and dark chocolate and like the kitchen sink. Just put it on the apple. It'll stick to the caramel, and then you eat it and try not to lose all your teeth. So good. because what I would do is I would take the stick out and I'd cut it up into slices. And, you know, you eat some slices or 2 or 3. And it was so good. Now, I think you have to do it with a Granny Smith type of apple. One that's a little bit more tart because you've got all that sugar that you're attaching to it. Ooh, it's so fall, isn't it? Reminds me of the falling leaves and carnivals and state fairs and all that good stuff. Pretty soon I'll be making my hats again. We will be back crocheting. Now, I needed to start doing that. I have a couple commissions. I finished one. I got to get that out in the mail. I have another one I got to finish up. Yesterday I finished up. I came home from work and I just sat down and started crocheting. I was working on this, remember that purple market bag that I was making? I finally like thought through how I want to make the handle, how I want to put a handle on this bag. And I crocheted my own design, and I would show you, but it's a gift for someone at the retreat that's coming up, because we have to put a handmade item into our gift basket. So I'm putting this in there. I'm going to wrap it up because it's really super cute. And it turned out cute, the candle that I made, and it was like my own pattern, my own design. I am now a crochet designer. How cool is that? Yeah, I can't count, but I can design. Okay. Judge, jury, and journey. I know I'm in a mood today. All right, let's talk about Elizabeth Holmes first. Elizabeth Holmes is on trial in federal court facing fraud charges and wire fraud charges and all these technical things. What it means is that she had this company, Theranos. The stuff didn't work, and she's in trouble. She's facing 20 years in trouble for lying to her investors that this thing would work, and it didn't work. So the testimony yesterday continued from this one whistleblower. The prosecution finished up her testimony, and then she was cross-examined by the defense. She maintained that the lab supervisors were considering all kinds of reasons why these results were never the same twice. But never considered that, hey, you know, maybe this thing just doesn't work. And then she talked about how they would bring these high-level people in, you know, like presidents. They would come through on these tours, and, you know, Elizabeth Holmes would bring them through, and she would show them, and tests were run. But some of the test results would come from the machine, and others of the test results would come from other machines that were not from Theranos. Yeah, the regular, like if I were to have a lab test, if I ever got to see my PCP and had lab work, it would be the test, the results that she gets. The same, you know, whatever. So that was the testimony there. Now, the Robert Durst trial, which is the super old guy, like really old, like prop him up, give him some oxygen, he's old. He's like picking out his casket old. Yeah. The jury is deliberating. This is today would be day 3 or 4 of deliberations. And there is a lot of things that they have to consider on the verdict form. A lot of questions that they have to answer. It's not just, did he do it? Did he not do it? There's questions that they have to answer. So, you know, they have to piece through all of these questions and decide, you know, yes or no to all these questions. Now, in the Stanley Ford case, which is what you're here for, and I'm finally getting to it 25 minutes in because I have been running my mouth. Stanley Ford is on trial for arson and murder. He is on trial for 3 fires. 2 were home fires. The first home fire, 2 people died. Second home fire, 7 people died, an entire family and the family pet. He cannot be charged with the family pet. He should be. That's my opinion. And in between, they think he set a vehicle on fire too. Now, yesterday I listened to the cross-examination. They've already rested, but they took the Thursday. The judge gave the jury 4 days off: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They have to come back Monday. They get closing arguments on Monday, and then they will get the case to deliberate. So yesterday I listened to the cross-examination of the lead detective. And let me tell you, someone asked my opinion of these defense lawyers earlier in the case, and I said, they are good. And let me tell you, they are good. I don't know what Stanley Ford is paying for these guys, but these guys are top-notch. If I was a criminal, well, if I was accused of being a criminal, I'd want these guys to defend me. They are good. They really, really are. So they ran this detective through every other possibility, every other suspect, not the least of which is this guy named Stanley Mitchell. Now, you haven't heard me talk about Stanley Mitchell because I didn't know his name was Stanley Mitchell. But the son of Stanley Ford is this Stanley Mitchell guy who, I think I told you the other day, he doesn't live there. He's 30 years old. He lives in the vicinity of these fires. He drives that truck. In the first fire, you may recall I was talking about there was a vehicle, a truck with a stripe on it. That's Stanley Mitchell's truck. And I said that it was driving all over. Oh, maybe it's not his truck. He has a truck. Anyway, somebody has a truck. Anyway, he was driving all over this neighborhood, and he was never thoroughly investigated. And the detective said, no, we cleared him. We cleared him. Then the next thing was, and he had access to the homes, both those 2 homes that were, and some of you might have been confused by this. Let me explain. There are the 2 homes that caught on fire, and then there's these other two homes that Stanley Ford lives in, which are, the 2 fires occurred on Fultz Street, and then Fultz Street, which runs this way. Now, if you go this way, Stanley Ford has 2 houses. One used to be his mother's, one was his. So when his mother's died, he inherited the house next door, right next door. So he goes back and forth between his houses. Now, the house that belonged to his mother had an alarm on it. And Stanley Ford would disarm the alarm and would go wandering around during the nights of these fires, apparently. And there was testimony from witnesses that he was like the neighborhood watch guy, that guy that you want in your neighborhood, watching everything, and then going, get off my lawn. That was him. And now he's in big trouble. So Stanley was his son. He had access to these 2 homes as well. So that was the first suspect. Then we hear about this Patrick Boggs guy, who was the ex-husband of the woman that died in the second fire, who, what did we do to investigate him? Well, we pulled his cell phone records, we got a search warrant, we searched his house, we searched his vehicle. They even pulled surveillance footage where they could see where his vehicle was that entire night, and it never left the location where it was. It never left and went over to where the fire was. So they're like, we cleared him. Then he's like, so what about the 2 guys that we see on the Circle K footage? This wax will not stay in this pen. What about the Circle K footage where we see the truck with the stripe that was driving all over the neighborhood, and we see these 2 guys? Did you identify the 2 guys? Yeah, we identified one of them. Well, did you talk to him? No, we never did talk to him. Well, why not? Well, he didn't want to talk to us. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So, did you investigate who these drug dealers were? That these people living in Linnell Lewis's house, you know, the first fire, there were people living in that house that were addicted to drugs, cocaine, admittedly. And did you follow up on who they owed money to? Because there was testimony that they owed money to people. Did you follow up with the drug dealer? Nope. Did you go ask them who's their drug dealers? Nope. This defense attorney put so much reasonable doubt in here. Now I'm thinking, wait a minute, who were those guys at the Circle K? Because they got out of that truck and clearly they had been driving around the neighborhood. And come to think of it, when we saw the footage of Stanley Ford, wasn't he getting in and out of a vehicle? Was that his own vehicle? Was it his son's vehicle? Whose vehicle was it? Who was because we did see an individual walking back and forth to Stanley Ford's home, but we also saw an individual getting in and out of a car. Now, who was that? So if I'm a juror, now I want to go back and I want to watch that footage again, because now I'm thinking, wait a minute, who was that? Was it Stanley Ford or was it somebody else in a car? The other reason they ruled out Stanley Ford's son, which is that Mitchell guy, is because he was 6 foot tall, 160 pounds, which means he was a stick figure. And clearly that's not what we see on the videos. The guy that's on the videos is not 6'4", 160 pounds. No way. So that was one of the reasons he got ruled out. But anyway, there's a lot of reasonable doubt in this Stanley Ford case. I am so curious to see what this jury does. So I'm going to put up a poll on the community page. Take a look at the community tab on your YouTube for a poll by me in the Stanley Ford case. Is he innocent? Is he guilty? Or do you think this is going to be a hung jury? I think it's going to be a hung jury. I think they're going to deliberate for a while. Not long, because they're sequestered. They're going to want to get home to their loved ones. They're in a hotel with no TV. That would make me nuts. Absolutely nuts. What? I got to watch TV before I go to sleep. And I don't want to watch it in some common room with a police officer looking over my shoulder. Anyway. So those deliberations are going to happen next week. I'll put up the poll. Then another case came to my attention from a subscriber. Thank you so much. I would have probably caught it anyway because it's all over YouTube. This girl, she's very young, Perdido. What was her name? Gabby Petito. Okay, her name is Gabby Petito. She was an influencer on Instagram. I think she might have had a YouTube channel. I think she was trying to start a YouTube channel. Very popular on Instagram, apparently. Her account had been taken down because she's missing. She decides she's going to go on this trip with her boyfriend in her van. They purchase a van and they take off. They're going to travel across the country in this van all summer. The last time her parents hear from her is mid-August. He comes home this past week and she's nowhere to be. He comes home without her. She's nowhere to be found. Nobody's heard from her. What happened to her? And he's not saying. He goes to his parents' house. They live in Northport, Florida, which is like one city over from where I used to work. I used to live in Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte and Northport are like right here. Port Charlotte is the ghetto. That's where I lived. Northport is the bougie part of the, that area. Anyway, so he goes home to his parents in Northport. They lock the door. They call a lawyer. The lawyer says, don't talk to anybody. So everybody's, hello, where's this woman at? Hello, have you seen her? And they're handing the lawyer's business card out the door. Here you go. Here's his card. Shut the door. They won't talk to the police. And the reporters are telling the police, what do you mean they're not talking to you? Can't you make them talk to you? No, he has a constitutional right not to talk to us. And then the lawyer comes out and says, they're not talking. I've advised him not to talk. Talk about what? Where is she? We just want to know where she is. So they take the van, which police have a right to do because it's her van. She's missing. It's her van. They take it. they are processing this van. They're not going to tell us what they find, but they're processing the van for evidence to find out where she's at. Now, her DNA is going to be in the van because they were camping this whole time and she was in and out of the van. Then, yesterday, I'm scrolling through YouTube and this body cam footage is released from this police department in, I don't know, the Mojave Desert somewhere, where they had been pulled over in August because he's going 45 miles an hour in a 15-mile-an-hour zone in this van, and he's like driving over the curb, and so they stop them. The officer goes to her side of the vehicle, and she's like sobbing, crying. She gets out of the vehicle. He says, "Step out of the vehicle, come over here, talk to me." He makes the guy, he says, "Give me your keys." He puts that on top of the vehicle. He goes over, and now he's got other vehicles arriving on scene to back him up. He takes her off to the side and he talks to her. He's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "We've been fighting all day," and she's sobbing and she's crying. So he says, "Okay, calm down. I'm going to put you back up in the back of my vehicle. You're not in trouble. I just need you to calm down. I'm going to get you some air conditioning, get you some water." Really nice police officer. Just calm yourself down. So he takes her over there and he puts her in the, and she's wearing like nothing. The shirt, you can see right through the shirt. I don't know what she was wearing underneath the shorts, but not much. And he puts her back in the I don't know what these two were up to anyway. So he goes to talk to the guy. "Can you step out? Can you talk to me?" And he seems like a normal guy. His last name is Laundry. How do you have the last name of Laundry and you don't grow up like bullied and whatever? I don't know. That's another discussion. So he's talking to this Laundry guy, and the guy's got scratches all over his face, all over his arm, and he's like, "It's okay, it's fine. Yeah, she scratched me. We've been fighting all day, and well, why did you drive over the curb?" "Well, because you threw your lights on and she grabbed the steering wheel and told me to pull over." These two must just been going at it. So I think what ended up happening is they get them a hotel room so they can each cool off for the night. They end up getting this couple of hotel rooms so each of them can cool off, because they classified it as a domestic not really domestic violence, but more of a mental health issue, because she describes herself as OCD. He says she's got anxiety. Clearly she has slapped him around a little bit. If that had been a guy and the woman had scratch marks all over her face, that guy would have been arrested. But they don't arrest this woman. I wish they had, because now we know where the hell she is, because now she's missing. What happened to her? So I think that her Instagram page may have been put back up yesterday. Her father is pleading for any information that anybody might have on her whereabouts. They are pulling the cell phone records for each of these people to see what they can glean from that. But, everybody wants to know, where is this woman? And boy, if this Laundry guy is responsible for her being missing, that's a trial that I want to follow. Now I have talked for 40 minutes. Good gravy. All right. Sorry. I am long-winded today, and I should be at work, truly. But my boss is at a retreat, so it's okay. I'll get there. Anyway, this day in history. Okay. The first Black Miss America. I just closed my iPad and I didn't remember her name. What was her name? Oh my gosh. I know this. I know the answer to this. Hold on. I can see her in front of me. I can see what she looks like. But I can't tell you her name. That's my Alzheimer's in me. My sometimers. What? Vanessa Williams. Okay, it just came to me. I saw a V and I said Vanessa. Vanessa Williams. First Black Miss America. Now, of course, the first 30 years of the Miss America pageant, Black people couldn't compete anyway. They weren't allowed. But she's the first Black Miss America. Beautiful woman. Then about a year later, these nude photos come out, and she's disgraced. She has to resign for her crown, and big to-do, so she just retreats. She's gone for a while, but then when she resurfaces, she has this amazing musical career. She's an actress now. She's been in, like, her famous show that she was in was Ugly Betty. She played a part in that. She's been nominated for a Tony Award. She's been nominated for Emmy Awards. She did pretty well for herself. Now, the nude photos ultimately got published without her permission in Penthouse, of course. Where else, right? But it didn't really harm her career. You know, she stayed under the radar for a short period of time and then had this fabulous career afterwards. So good for her. I'm happy for her. You know, have I ever done nude photos? No. But I'm not running for Miss America either. If you want to run for Miss America, here's the daily lesson, okay? If you want to be Miss America, don't pose nude, okay? That's the lesson. Or do pose nude, go under the radar, and then just pop out a few years later and have a great career. Whatever. Anyway, I gotta go to work. Gotta go to work. It's Friday. Not payday, but it's Friday. Nonetheless, we will get back to Monster Mash. Who's going on tonight? Mickey Sunshine Creates. She's been under the weather, but I think she'll be alive tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And I think Jennifer's on vacation, so no DP Addiction Adventures. Maybe Nana of 7 Crafts will go live later on. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Watch YouTube, see what's on Friday night. Or you can just watch that television show I told you about. Something about traveling with my father. A guy's name and then traveling with my father. British show. Watch it. It's hilarious. If you like that kind of humor. Okay. I gotta go. Ooh, to work. I just slammed that down. The drills are going everywhere. Come on. You just have to get your finger wet, right? All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. If I do a Saturday edition, I don't know if I'm going to do a Saturday edition. I've got some unboxings I need to do. Maybe I'll just do the unboxings. All right. I will see you sometime this weekend. I'm doing a live on Sunday, 11 a.m. I hope to have some of my Monster Mash buddies in there. I don't know which ones are available. We'll have some fun though. We'll work on Monster Mash. If you just got it, get it out, kit it up, and let's have some fun. Because the colors and the drills in this are amazing. Yes. All right. Love you all.